Hello, we meet again along the bending road. Remember, no matter where you go in life, two things are for certain. You will eventually come to a bend in your road, and God will always see you through. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. You can also click the subscribe button so that you'll know when I upload my next video. In this way, we work together to encourage one another as we travel life and navigate the bends in our road. Hi, welcome back to the Bending Road. I'm glad you could join me today. I want to talk a little bit more about lessons I've learned from hiking. Last week, I talked about the things that we need to do in preparing for hiking. We need to make sure that we get out and do it, not be afraid of what's out there, make sure we have the proper gear and the tools for the journey. But I want to talk about what happens when we actually get out there and hike and how that relates to our life along this bending road. I have learned so much while getting my boots muddy out on the trails. And God has used those experiences to just teach me so much. And I hope I can encourage you today. So along the journey takes several stages when we're out hiking. So let's say we have a 2-3 mile hike that we're going to do. And when we first get started, it is new and exciting and adventurous, and we're seeing all sorts of things. And then after a time, you do get to the point where you're just trying to get the job done and trying to enjoy the work along the way. But it gets hard. That's where the hard work comes in. And then maybe that last mile or last half mile, depending how long you're taking, you're just getting through it. Just get it done. We've taken hikes where we've gone a little farther than we really should have, and we just got to get it done. Same is true in life. Sometimes you're going through life and enjoying the journey and all is well. Sometimes you're just working hard and getting the job done. You get up, you do it, you go to bed. You get up, you do it, you go to bed. And it's just, you're enjoying the work of it, but it gets a little wearing after a while. And then you get to the point sometimes in life where you're just getting through it. I want to encourage you. Keep pressing on. Keep pressing through, because you'll get there. You'll get there. And eventually it comes around to where you're refreshed and it's new and exciting once again. Last week I mentioned the trail markers along the way. And sometimes the trail markers are very clear. You know exactly where you're going in life and everything's going along without a hitch. But sometimes you have to really look for them. And maybe they're hard to see. Maybe you can only see one way up ahead. So you just keep going in that direction, hoping a few more will show themselves. Sometimes you just have to walk toward your best guess and think, well, I feel like it's going this way. And maybe you're going this way. You think you're supposed to. And then all of a sudden you see the trail marker over there. So you hurry up and get over on that trail again. Sometimes if it's around a bend, you can't see that at all. And sometimes you suddenly turn that bend and all of a sudden you can see 3, 4, 5, 6 trail markers. Same is true for the bending road of life, right? Sometimes it gets hard and you don't know where you're going. You don't know what's next. You don't know where you're supposed to be. And the markers, the voice of God, right, might be a little difficult to hear. Keep going. Keep going where you feel you should be going, following the trail the best you can. God will reveal to you. Sometimes I believe that God has wanted me to just keep going and trust that He's going to be there. And He wants to see my faithfulness in continuing to go. So the journey has several stages, and you got to watch those trail markers. But what's interesting is you also got to watch where you're going, right? We have to watch where we're going. And you've got to keep your eyes ahead of you, but you also got to watch where you're stepping, right? You got to watch what you're walking on or you're going to trip over something. But if you don't keep watching ahead, you'll get off the trail. You got to keep your head up and your eyes up, but you might trip over something or step in something undesirable. If you only keep your eyes on the ground, you might miss a trail marker and you might step off the trail. You might lose your way, or you might bump your head on a branch that's hanging over. You know, you can also look back. And that's always interesting on a trail, to turn around and look back and see where you've been. But it doesn't always give you a clear picture. If you walk a trail that goes out and then comes back, it doesn't look the same coming back. It's a different perspective. So when we walk through life, when we start to look back and we see, we have regrets or we have fears or uncertainties about the past, be careful about that, because that's a different perspective. You didn't have that same perspective that you had when you were going through, so don't be too hard on yourself. While we're trying to watch ahead, while we're trying to watch our footing, while we're trying not to bump our head, while we're trying to have a good perspective looking back, all of those things are true, but sometimes we get to a place where we've been here before. We've been in this kind of situation before. We've walked this path before, but it doesn't look exactly the same. On the trail, the lighting might be different. Maybe there's some weather, some rain. The animals have come through. Other people have come through this path. They all make changes to our landscape. All of our experiences in life change our filters. We see things differently. We think things differently. We feel things differently. So even though you feel like you are in familiar territory of life, it may not look the same. And don't expect yourself to react the same way. Familiar places give us a chance to do it better. Sometimes Dave and I have some favorite trails that we like to go back to time after time, and we remember, oh, that's right, when we went around this tree this way, we slipped and almost fell, so we're going to go around on this way. Same is true for life. If you find yourself in a position that you feel like you've done this before, not that deja vu stuff, but you've been in this type of situation before, take the opportunity this time to do it better than you did before. See how God uses that. I've also found out sometimes that Dave does the leading. Sometimes I do the leading. Sometimes if I step back and look, I can find a way around something that he didn't see. Maybe he's too close to it. Maybe he's too far back. But sometimes we need in life to let somebody else lead. Sometimes we need to step out of the way. We need to be careful on the trail. Sometimes briars or pricker bushes of some sort will grab a hold of your coat and your pants or your skin, or rocks along the path may trip you up and your footing is insecure. Maybe there's a branch that fell. All of these things are true in life. We need to just pay attention to things that could trip us up. Get to know those things. Get to know those triggers. Triggers is a popular word these days, but it's a real thing. Sometimes somebody can say a word or a phrase, or we can see something or smell something, and it creates a discomfort in us. Be aware of those things in life. If you pay attention as we travel along this road, God will show you amazing things. Dave and I have seen some just wonderful things as we hike in the woods, as we hike up and down hills, take new paths. The same is true for life. I want to encourage you today to not be afraid of the unfamiliar, to keep your head up, keep watching, keep paying attention, watch your footing, pay attention to what you're stepping on or stepping in. Pay attention to whether or not you have the ability to lead in a given situation, or maybe you need to trust somebody else to help guide. Watch out for those dangers. Know the dangers in advance. Have a plan. How am I going to respond when somebody says this or that or does this or that? How am I going to respond when I see a particular person that makes life difficult? You can do it. You can do it. And God will always see you through. Have a good day, and I'll see you next week on the Bending Road. I am so glad we can work together along this journey. I would love it if you would connect with me on social media or on my website at bendingroad.weebly.com. Let me know how I can pray for you as you navigate the bends in your road. And I pray that when you see the bend in your road, you will not be afraid, but will take the hand of God and keep walking. You are not alone. We'll see you next week on the Bending Road.